networking, dialogue,
Consumers of tomorrow will shop through multiple channels of retail.
exhibition. All this and much more took place at the 4th edition of the Indian Retail and E-Retail Congress.
It's an omni-channel strategy. It's O to O, offline to online, online to offline, everything in between.
The who's who of the retail world, international brands and the new kids on the block came together to analyze the fast-changing retail landscape of the Indian market.
What we are facing currently is what I call a short-term threat. But in the long term, I think there is a huge opportunity that exists in the marketplace. And when I say huge, I mean mammoth. It's an absolutely new channel that has opened up, which is e-retail, m-retail, and so on, which will probably change the whole way we think of retailing. But yes, we have to keep up with that change.
India has pulled and attracted a lot of interest, not only of the domestic retailers, but also from the international players. And different ways and means have evolved to reach to the consumer.
My belief is if you're going to be successful in India, you can be successful anywhere. India is a very, very tough market.
The two-day Congress had a power-packed lineup of sessions and an awards ceremony that felicitated achievers in the retail space.
Thank you for being with us here today to celebrate the excellence in this industry on behalf of Franchise India.
We talk about issues in the industry, which means what are the challenges we are facing, and then we talk about a lot of things which are capital and issues of entire thing where the growth is going to come from. So we always would like to package the opportunities in that manner. In times to come, I think this show would multiply. You will certainly see a 100% growth next year when people return for this show.
The event kicked off with a session that aimed to understand the new consumer-led market and buying behaviors.
If I have to use one word or one expression for the customer, I would never use a he, I would use a she. In most categories that matter, men are service providers. For 15 years plus, Indian families have seen consistent income increase. If we are honest to ourselves, as consumers, we do not actually know, we do not have any recent memory of what we grew up with, the notion of a rainy day. It's a very unique situation. If you live with this for a long period of time, it increases customer behavior almost every year.
When we look at 90s, I personally felt Indian customers were much shy as compared to their Western counterparts. But a tremendous change has happened. The customer is more empowered, more informed, thanks to the internet boom which has happened in the last 1 decade.
You remember how Damodar said that in the same catchment area in 6 years the income has doubled. It's true for every catchment area. It's not Saket and Bandra that we are talking about. It's everywhere in the country. And that consumer does not have reach to a lot of products. And that's where I think e-tailing has an opportunity.
In 2013, for example, my business used to be completely dependent on, modern trade and mom and pop stores. And since licensing business is still slightly niche in India and nascent stages, I used to be available in about 25, 30 towns. Today, because what e-commerce has done to retail, I am now selling 32-inch figurines of Batman in cities like Gorakhpur, for example.
Another invigorating session delved into the minds of the new age shopper and the promise India's youth bulge held for brands.
There is no more mass markets. Even if it's an offline or if it's an online, there are niche of segments. So within segments, there are micro segments. Within target groups, there are micro targets. So that has something which has changed or has evolved, recently, or, has been evolving every day.
There's more than 2 billion millennials globally. They are the most inclusive people. They're very group and friend oriented. It's important that the brand communicates directly to them, to what Abhishek was saying earlier. It's about me. You're talking to me, you're not talking to a group of people, while I'm part of a group. And it's meaning over money. How are you going to talk to people like this? You can't talk to them in a, I will tell you how to shop on my website, or how I will tell you how to interact with my products in my store. They will do it the way they want to do it.
If you compare the physical world and the virtual world, virtual shopping is all image based. And research shows that image based shopping is much more stressful.
With digital revolution taking over traditional retail, the next set of panelists discussed new business models and ideas for the changing scenario.
We at Future Group and at Big Bazaar definitely do believe that consumers of tomorrow will shop through multiple channels of retail. So I think there will be times when they will come to the physical store for certain products, certain categories, or for different needs. And there will be times when they'll go to the mobile, to the web, or any other new digital ecosystem or channel that emerges tomorrow. I think it's a natural progression. As a retailer, we are a products and goods company, and wherever consumers are, we'll have to service them through that channel.
We're getting accustomed to buying a lot of products online. But I think the next stage, and Alok, you were probably one of the forerunners to see service businesses going online.
One very basic thing that never existed in insurance sector in India was no one believed that customers would want to buy an insurance product on their own. There was always a belief that customers will need to be a little bit pushed or nudged for a closure. Now that's a very, very fundamental thing that we are trying to change. So we are trying to move focus from how to distribute a product to maybe what exactly the customer need, and how do we play a part in fulfilling that need.
I'll come to Raghu. Raghu is the founder of Taxi for sure. Where was the disruption you saw that, that could become a business model by itself?
We saw a lot of unused inventory on the roads, right? And there were customers who were waiting for taxis, and there were a lot of taxis on the road who were waiting for customers. Just because there was a call center which had become the bottleneck, they were not able to get in touch with each other. That's when we thought that if we can essentially get all these people onto the platform, right, all the cabs on the same single platform, and provide an access for customers to reach out to all the cabs in a city through a single channel, then there is a high probability of finding a cab with us. That's how the idea of Taxi for Sure was born. I think technology played a significant role. I think that was the time when geolocation sensor started getting ingrained into become a common feature in almost all the smartphones. Because of which tracking a taxi became significantly easier and a lot more cheaper, and figuring out the location of the customer also became a lot more cheaper. If the geolocation sensor wouldn't have been part of the smartphone, I don't think so our business existed.
With omni-channel becoming the new buzzword, the next session had panelists trying to list ways brick and mortar could transform and join the bandwagon.
Typical today omni-channel is that, okay, get your products online, put offers online, and that's about it. But we completely disagree with that. Because as a consumer, when you walk into the store, the first thing you ask is, Naya kya hai, right? What are the new things in your store? And that information today doesn't exist. And that's what NowFirst wants to create. We want to really simplify the content creation for an SMB. So today on our platform, people update their site 3 times in a month.
These sellers that are coming online, that are going all across all the e-tailers, how verifiable are they? Because their reputation is impacting the big e-tailers as well.
Right from your online store to your CRM to your loyalty, for B2B businesses to engage with your suppliers through an extranet. So all of these different facets allow a business to plug and play with their existing infrastructure. So you're not ripping and replacing what you have, but you are adding value on top to ensure that you are scaling your business and scaling your strategy to connect with consumers across different touch points.
On online, I'm buying actually. No one is selling it to me. So I think if that engagement towards selling starts from an online perspective that really engages the customer, gets into his emotional quotient as well, not just analytics and data, but beyond that, I would love if that starts happening.
Retailing is becoming organized. It is a large unorganized market is becoming organized, and the organized is getting specialized, and the specialized is getting personalized.
whichever phase of the growth, evolution, the category is, there is a market available for them.
Innovations in marketing, innovations in payment gateways, innovations on logistics side, right? And that's what e-tailing is all about, right? So a lot of money is coming into it, right? People are driving innovative stuff, building innovative technologies, and that's what is helping us, a business like us.
In the buying behavior, I think you have to have apps that are going to be mobile friendly, because people are going to access internet through mobile, given the infrastructure of our company. And if you're mobile friendly as a platform, if you're mobile friendly as a brand, as your website, etc., I think you'll drive more business.
Retail in India in the last decade or so has been the fastest evolving market. I think there is a huge growing consumerism in India because of us being one of the youngest nations in the world. And obviously there is an infiltration of a lot of foreign brands into our country because it is the largest independent consumer market in the world.
On the other side of the break, catch all the action from Indian Retail Awards 2015.
From about 30-35 million users on e-retail today, going up to about 100 million users. So I think India is ready. I think India is at the cusp of a space where I think it will propel a lot more from now. But I think it will be interesting in terms of what new models develop around e-retail. What are the new engagement forms.
There are a few customers who engage with technology, right? And you figure out in technology what are the different aspects that they're engaging with. That's when you figure out that the engagement is a lot more higher in social media. Right? Then can we use that as a channel to provide access? That's how the thought process was.
The penetration of smartphone is not more than 30%. So there is a huge chunk to come, and with the manufacturers making the phone smarter, you will be able to do everything from your mobile phone in the coming years.
It was a full house for the next session at the Indian Retail and E-Retail Congress 2015 that discussed ways to leverage online marketplaces for business growth.
I wanted to just give a perspective on where is online heading, what are the marketplaces looking like, where is the opportunity, so that we can focus on the right things and see how can we all build the retail business in a much more aggressive fashion than what we have been probably doing so far. You're looking at the number of online shoppers who are transacting on mobile. It's actually equal right now in terms of, you see the left graph, it's a little bit bigger than the desktop customer base, and that's only going to go and explode over the next few years. Customers are now used to and would like to get things right now, right there, as they are actually working on the mobile phone. So as retailers, I think it's important to look at what is it that we need to do if you actually want to sell on a mobile phone. The way they interact on the app is very different from the way they interact on a desktop. I mean, in a desktop, you'll probably go and search on top, you'll move your mouse, you'll click here and there. Here it's very, very different. People like swipe, they check out a lot more products, they'll look at the photograph, they don't read as much, they'll pinch, they'll zoom in. What really happens with data is actually you get to learn a lot more about your own brand, about your own customers, and about their own experience, that you can actually work on improving the trust with customers a lot more. If I have the reach, and if I have the footfall, and if I'm trying to build a brand in the country, how do I, if I can do it with lower distribution costs, or even use my existing channels and then serve my customers better, then I think it's a matter of taking the whole step.
And finally, it was time to understand what investors are excited about in retail today.
The one thing from my perspective is the e-commerce large companies, the Flipkart, the Snapdeals, I think they've done a great service. They have actually unleashed the entire leverage of internet. And for our country, which is so large, I think it's a huge, huge opening that has been made into the ecosystem.
brands have really never existed in India in any major way. And I think a lot of the reason for that is just because it's difficult to leverage offline retail in any massive way. And with technology and because of the penetration of Flipkart and other large marketplaces and inventory-led models, you have people already connected. And if you have people already connected and you can leverage that to sell your brand in specific verticals, I think that those are huge businesses.
Let's look at example the reality today. The whole day we do using mobile, we do e-commerce using m-commerce. But by the time we are back home, what we are doing, we are picking up a car or asking a Ramu or someone, the local guy, just go and do some neighborhood commerce for us. So the neighborhood commerce, which is offline, we are calling it a brick and mortar. What they are missing vis-a-vis the e-commerce is the digital infrastructure. If they are empowered with this digital infrastructure, what we are calling as the tool or the technology around that and innovation, I think they will be competing at par with the e-commerce people, or maybe they will collaborate with them.
In retail, there's always been this paradigm of location, location, location. And the challenge is that, this is the location now, right? So if you're starting out with a mental model of saying, I need to pick the right catchment area, I need to be in the right mall, I need to optimize around footfall, that's a very different starting point from saying, I want to deliver a really engaging buying experience on a device that can happen seamlessly in 5 minutes.
Some of the panel discussion which had happened here, it was really, giving new innovations. Some of them has talked about they really didn't know that how come the experience of the customer is going to change. But today, based on the experience from the customer, the feedbacks which are coming in, yes, today it's not only the real retail stores, but the e-commerce is also coming up in a big way.
The two-day event culminated with an evening of glitz and glamour.
Oh, paas mein hi brand ki dukaan.
That celebrated and awarded the best in the business of retail.
It's a moment of great delight and pride as we extend a very, very warm welcome to each one of you to the 4th annual edition of the Indian Retail and E-Retail Awards 2015. So, it's time for us to begin with the very first category for this evening. It is for the Outstanding Contribution to E-Retailing Award. Please put your hands together for Mr. Kunal Behel and Mr. Rohit Bansal, founders Snapdeal.com. Thank you so much and a hearty congratulations. All right, moving on to the next award. Retailer of the Year. Please put your hands together for DLF Brand. It's time to give away the award for Best in Retail in Automotive segment. The award goes to Mahindra First Choice Wheels Limited. Our next award is for the Beauty Salon and Spa of the Year. The award goes to Groom India Salon and Spa Private Limited. Together, let's build a beautiful India. Congratulations, Groom India. Our next award is for the Best New Retail Launch of the Year. And the award goes to Burger King India. Great food comes first. Moving on to the next category, the Best Loyalty Solution Provider. Please put your hands together for Payback India. Payback is India's largest loyalty program. It presents many advantages over traditional standalone customer loyalty schemes. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give a big round of applause. Payback India. All right, moving on to our next award, which is Implementation of Single Platform, ERP across entire enterprise. The award goes to Genesis Colors Private Limited. Genesis Group brings an eclectic mix of splendid designer labels from India and across the globe, ensuring that our customers are spoiled for choice. Congratulations. The best shopping mall of the year, West. Please put your hands together for In Orbit Malls, pioneered mall culture in India. It's time for us to welcome on stage the best licensor of the year, Entertainment. Please put your hands together for Cartoon Network, my favorite. Let's have a big round of applause for that, please. Home and Lifestyle E-Retailer of the Year. And the award goes to Snapdeal.com. Started in 2010, Snapdeal.com is the largest online marketplace in India, offering over 4 million products across 500 plus categories, delivering to 5,000 plus towns and cities in India. Moving on to our next category, which is E-Retailer of the Year. Please put your hands together for Amazon.in. May I request all of you in the retail category and e-retailer category to please join us on the stage.
People want to be recognized between their peers. That gives them potential them to go and work even harder to get and retain that position for the industry. A lot of awards are for a lot of new companies, new ideas, creative functioning, teamwork, great marketing idea, and so on and so forth. So very credible companies you will find and their teams get recognized on that.